In this video, we're going to see how to create this model from this sketch. So basically we have a sketch of what this thing should look like, and we're going to create a model based on that. Before we do that, let's take a look at our version of FreeCAD. So this is version 0.21.2. It's the latest release. I will be looking at version 0.22 probably in the next video. But for now, I'm going with the one that's released. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this to create this model. We're going to use this sketch as our guide. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to consider how would we create this model. So looking at it, there are two distinct pieces. There's this block here and this block here. So we want to create those. We could do two separate bodies and combine them as a Boolean, or we could just create one sketch, create this part, create another sketch, create this part, and then create a sketch that has these bosses on it as well. So let's use that approach and let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to start a new file and then a new part and a new body. And a lot of people have been asking me lately about parts and bodies and what they do. So a part is a container that can have several bodies in it. And what that does, it allows us to use it in an assembly. So I can assemble parts or I can assemble bodies, but I'm going to use part to create several bodies, and then I could use that in assembly if I wanted to. So the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to create a sketch. We're going to do it on the XY plane. Going to take a quick look at our drawing here. And what we want is this big rectangle. So I can see it's 16 in this direction. And I can see that it is 8.5 across here. So let's go ahead and create that. We're just going to do a centered rectangle. Just create it with the size that we want. And we'll just go ahead and make that 8.5. And then we'll go ahead and dimension the other direction. And that was 16. So let's just double check. 16 right here and 8.5. So now we've got that sketch. It's fully constrained, so we're going to close that. We're going to pad it, and we saw our pad. Let's go back to our sketch. Our pad is 5 millimeters, so I'm going to do that to 5 millimeters. Done. There's our first block, and if we go look at our sketch again, that's basically this block here. It's that bottom block. Now we're going to create this second block. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to do another sketch. Going to do it on the XY plane again. Now remember, if we were able to use a surface, I'd just put it right on this surface here. But for now, we don't want to do that because of the topological naming issue. So we're not going to do that. Anytime that we're drawing, we got a model showing up, we want to see it halfway through. So we use this view section so that we can see halfway through and we can see what we're actually modeling. I'm going to create a rectangle. I'm going to actually include this line in the back here so I can start my rectangle at that point. And I know it goes to halfway there. Done. We're going to close that. Now remember, when we do this, our sketch is actually on the bottom. So if I want to create a pad that sticks up 5, I got to do a pad that's 10 millimeters. So I'll say, okay. So now that pad actually goes all the way through. Now these ugly lines that we can see here, we can remove those later on. But for now, we're going to leave them be. Now, one thing we wanted to do was to have 2 holes in our original drawing. So I'm going to go back to that sketch. And I'm going to draw in those 2 holes. So there was a hole here somewhere and a hole here somewhere. And then I'm just going to dimension those to make sure that they're in the right place. And if we look at our sketch, you can see it's 6.7 to the back, and 2.1 down, 2.8 and 12.8. So I know I have that piece there, so this is the front one. Got to keep everything in order here so that we know where things are. So with this drawing, that piece is over here. So this is the one next to the block, and this is the one in front of the block. So our block is here, the one in front of the block, and we are dimensioning from the back of the block. So we're going to go to the back, 12.8, and down 2.1. We're going to go from the back of the block to there. That's going to be 12.8. And we're going from the back down to there, and that's going to be 2.1. Diameter of that is 2 millimeters. And this one and this one are equal. And then we just want the dimensions to the other one. So let's just take a quick look at the sketch again. It's going to be 2.8 and 6.7. So let's do that. We're going to dimension from here again. 6.7. And we're going to dimension from here again. 2.8. And we're going to close that. And now we've got our holes in the position. So if we look at our sketch here, the final thing we need to do is to add these bosses around those holes. So we're just going to add the boss. The boss is 1 millimeter tall, and it's a 3 millimeter diameter. So the simplest way to do that is we're going to go back to a new sketch. I'm going to put it on the XY plane again. And this time we're going to include both of these circles. And then I can simply create a circle from that center point. And go here. Remember, we want to see our sectional view. And go here. We'll give that a dimension. We're going to call that 3. And we're going to make that one and that one equal. But first we have to draw the hole through it. Otherwise, what's going to happen is we're going to end up with no hole in our thing. So there we go. And now if we pad that, we just want it to be 6 millimeters because it's going to be 1 millimeter taller. We say OK. And now if we look at all these extra lines that we got in there, if you look inside the hole, you can see there's an extra line there. So we're just going to go to the pad and we're going to say where it says refine, we're going to say true. And then once we refine it, you see those lines disappeared and all the lines on the back have disappeared. Everything looks beautiful. And that simply is how you create this model from that sketch. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. Just a quick video just to show you how to do something very simple. But I wanted to show you how easy it can be in FreeCAD. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. If you've enjoyed the video, please subscribe. It's actually free, doesn't cost you any money, and I'd really appreciate it. It encourages me to do more videos. And then if you want to join our Patreon, feel free to join Patreon, and you can join as a free member, or you can join, and if you want to contribute, you can join as a $5 member. You can also join the membership on YouTube, or if you just want to buy me a coffee, which equals a beer, you can certainly do that too. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one.